Hey guys, just got done watching a Canadian B movie called WolfCop from 2014 this year. And I have to say, before we start, yes, I find a really good one, which is now on my top 10 list of B movies that are great. So, basically, it stars Leo Fafard as the Wolf Cop slash Lou Garou, Amy Mysterio as Tina, Jonathan Cherry as Willie, Sarah Lind as Jessica, Aidan Devine as Chief, Jesse Moss as gang leader, and Corinne Conley as Mia Bradley. So let's get on with it, shall we? I tried doing this before, but messed it up, got the women's names mixed up. So I had to redo it. So basically, the movie starts off with this real fantastic opening credit scene, and it's just awesome. It's just great. Once you see it, it gets you all boosted up for the movie, and you're like, I've got to get into this. Oh, this is great. And you go from like being like, oh, I'm like this, and really enjoying it. It's just awesome. So basically, at the beginning of the movie, we meet Lou Garou, played by Leo Fafard, and he's an alcoholic. And he gets in his car, and as he's driving along, you see all these things going on, and some of them are quite funny. And he stops at the traffic lights where this guy's getting really beaten up. And when he looks at them, basically, they look at him and they're all like this, when he drives on. He gets to work and basically he's drunk. Well, I did say he was drunk, but he's drunk and his boss isn't exactly happy with him. And he ends up being sent to talk to Willie, who's probably one of the greatest characters in B movie history. He's funny, he's got great comedy timing, he's just over the top. And that's what's so good about him. There's been over the top in B movies, and then there's been over the top in a good way. In this movie, it doesn't take it seriously, and it's over the top in a great way. So you meet Willie, and basically goes on about how there's all these signs of a cult and werewolves and all this other stuff. Now, I really enjoyed the introduction to Willie because he looks eccentric and he looks like he is a bit crazy. What I mean by that is, like you're friendly kind of crazy. Like wanting to find the truth and stuff like that, the truth is out there. So basically, then you see Lou Garou going to the local bar to get a drink. And that's where we meet Jessica. That's right, Jessica. Last time I said it was Tina, but it's Jessica. And basically, they've got this real attraction to each other. She's smiling at him, he's smiling at her. You can tell there's something that's going on or something that's going to happen. So he basically goes on about how with Mayor Bradley around, people are shooting, people with guns who shouldn't have them are shooting. And she cracks a joke like she looks at his gun and he looks at her and he goes, don't worry, I haven't had shooting in a few years. And she goes, are you sure you still know how to use it? Now, we all know that's not his gun she's talking about. So that had meant laughter. Then basically you get the gangster bloke coming who's really, really over the top and a little bit campy in a funny way. Like, you can't take him seriously because he's so like, and he doesn't look like he could be in control of these big burly blokes. It's just really, really funny. So basically, Mayor, what's his name? Terry Wallace comes in. And he's basically going about Mayor Bradley don't want to change anything. People basically throw things at him and chuck him out, basically. He basically ends up leaving. So then he gets sent to go on to a crime scene at night. And basically what happens is there's either a crime scene or kids partying, I can't remember. But then what happens is he goes and he finds somebody. And he turns around and there's these three hooded cloak people that are in the opening credits. And they hit him over the head. Next thing you know, he wakes up in his bed with a little bit of blood on him. So he goes to work as normal. And, excuse me. But this time he's going like this when it's at the swing. Because he can smell things. And when his colleague's walking up behind him, he goes, "Hello, Tina." And she goes, how did you know? And he goes, "I can smell your perfume." And she goes, "I'm not wearing perfume." And starts getting weird. And this is where we meet Mayor Bradley. Basically, she does a thing for the TV news. Basically introducing, basically saying about the problems and that. Well, the next thing you know, he's at the bar again, and he's flirting with Jessica, and all of a sudden they're kissing and they're making out, and all of a sudden he drops his drink, and he starts feeling really sick, so he runs down to the bathroom. He's like, in there. Well, as he's being sick, he decides he's gonna do a wee, and he wees in the urinal, and you see his penis, which is obviously fake, and then this big furry one shoots out of it, and he starts turning, pain, like his hands and all that, start coming out. Well, at the same time, the gang leader has sent some guys to deal with him, and they go in and they get decimated, obviously. Now, I really, really like this film, and I'm going to talk a bit more about it in a minute, but I just want to say that this is a great start. Now, normally to me, werewolf movies are a little bit, depending on what happens in them, you know. I liked American Werewolf in London, but I wasn't a big fan of the effects. I liked the movie, especially the dead friend who keeps talking to him. But I like the effects in this because in a way it reminds me of Teen Wolf, but like for the older generation, if you get what I mean. Like a darker kind of cop version, you know what I mean? So basically, he then ends up finding himself handcuffed. He wakes up to being handcuffed by pink handcuffs, of all things. And Willie's got him, and Willie lets him go and basically talks to him and explains to him what's happening. Now you think to yourself, has Willie read a lot of books as he studied this, or is there something more to his character? So basically, he ends up being let out and all this other stuff, and going forward in the movie, he turns into the wolf in the cell. And him and Willie, because Willie's recording it, are playing cards, and he keeps going to me, "Give me a beer, give me a beer." It's just really funny. So he's drinking and he's eating donuts, and he breaks the cell open. And a phone call comes in about a robbery in process. So as the wolf, he puts on a police uniform and drives there and grabs hold of him. It's just hysterical. Then there's a automobile place next door, like a garage, and he makes his own car. And it's just really, really loads of fun. I absolutely love this movie. There's other scenes in it, like the scene where Jessica turns up dressed up as Red Riding Hood, which probably a lot of people won't get because it's not like the cloak and that on. But she goes, "Oh, what big teeth you've got. Oh, that's not the only big thing you've got." And then there's a sex scene with her and Lou Garou as the werewolf in the cell, and it's just strangely erotic. You watch it and you kind of can't help but go, "Wow, I wish I was that werewolf," or "Wow, this is just amazing." The makeup effects in this movie for a Canadian film are just fantastic. I enjoyed them. I couldn't help. The film had me gripped. Especially the bits where, there's this scene where a bloke puts his arms around him and he pulls off his arm and then hits him across the room with it. It's just fantastic. I love it. I enjoyed it. When I found out it was a number 2 coming, I was like, yes, yes. So, after the sex scene, spoiler alert, after the sex scene, you find out that Jessica is actually Mayor Brady, and that she's a shapeshifter. Yes. So she can turn between Jessica and her. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, And hey, she gets Willie to take him to the woods. Now Willie turns out to be a shapeshifter as well, and so does the chief, the one in charge. And to be honest with you, this kind of made me go, huh? Because the chief turns into the gang leader, and he has these men waiting to take care of Lugaroo as the werewolf, and they're all padded up. But when he leaves them, he turns into the chief again. And they have him tied up, and it's about to be a full moon, I think. And they say that they want his blood because something about makes him better or something. Like a sacrificial thing. And, well, his partner, Tina, she turns up and she kills poor little Willie. And just with a gun bullet, now they're immortal, they've been immortal and they've lived for 300 years, I think. And she shot him with one bullet and he was dead. And he turned into fire and died. Right? Mayor Brady almost died as well at some point. But when the chief got stabbed right through the body, he was still alive. Which amazed me, because I was like, if he was still alive, why were they? Is it because he's the leader? But anyway. So the movie in itself is just so much fun. If I had to recommend a movie to you guys from the last week or so, I'd have to recommend this movie, hands down. Because it looks like it's got a high production rate. It's high production rate. It also has got a high cost. Looks like it costs quite a bit to make. Even though it's a B movie, it is a B movie and it does feel like a B movie, but at the same time you don't look at it as one because you're enjoying it so much. Do you know what I'm saying? You're enjoying the acting because the acting by everybody is just superb. It's amazing. And I think it's a Canadian movie and it cost 1 million Canadian to make. It's just amazing because this movie is funny. It's got great cinematography. It's got great editing. It's got incredible acting. And stuff really, really gets better once he turns into the werewolf. So once he turns into the werewolf, it's just so much fun. You're just like, yeah, more, you know? And then when you see on the end credits, but there's going to be a number 2, I was like, yes! Because I can't wait for it. I'm just so excited for it. Because this film was just awesome. Now, Lugaroo, played by, let me get it right, Lee Fafard, was just awesome. You believed he was a drunk. Even as the werewolf, he was still a drunk. He was still drinking all the time. The way he was sniffing people and the way there's a scene in this movie where he's holding on the car while he's driving on the wheel. He's like, at the car, and he goes, "What's up?" Well, he goes, "What's that? What's happening?" And he drives straight into the barn, which is basically the drug gang's hideout, and the place ends up blowing up. And you're just like, there's a real story being told in this movie. It doesn't feel rushed. It doesn't feel stupid, but it feels like it's at the right pace. It feels like if it had been like 20, 30 minutes more, it would have dragged a bit, if you get what I'm saying. And I'm really looking forward to see what they do with number 2. Will it star Leo Fafard again and the same characters, or will they change it like some independent movies do? I am so excited, and I cannot recommend a movie more than this, because this movie is so much fun. I'm trying to think what else to say about the movie. The 2 female leads, Tina and Jessica, they have problems with each other. I'm guessing it's because, you know, women clash. You know, I think it's got to do over Lou because I think Tina's got a little thing for him. But that's not something that really matters. I think she does. And I'd like to have seen a little bit more action. But the action is very, very fluid and flows really well. The comedy does fall flat sometimes, but like I said, if you watch a lot of horror movies or a lot of certain movies, you're going to kind of get the jokes. Some of the jokes are aimed at people who watch films. It's like the Little Red Riding Hood reference, when she goes, "Oh, what big teeth you've got." You know, everybody should get there, but a lot of people won't because they'll be like, "Well, she's not wearing a red hood," and you know that crap. You know, so yeah. My final thoughts on WolfCop is it's a great film. It's a lot of fun. It's a fairly good comedy. It's a great horror comedy. I don't think I've seen a horror comedy as good as this in years. Highly recommend it for the horror comedy. Once he turns into the werewolf, it's just so much fun. I like the makeup of the werewolf. I like it when he changes as well because the skin peels off. And it's like, it's not like bloody, what was that film called? Werewolf Rising, where they just went, ugh, and all of a sudden they turned into it. You saw him pulling the skin off and everything, and the skin coming off and being on the bar while his hand turned furry, and it was just great. You know, great effects, great makeup effects, great story, great acting, great male lead, great sex scene. You know, bestiality all the way. If you want to turn it. Well, what this told me was if you have sex with a werewolf as a young woman, you'll then become an elderly woman who's a little bit bitter. But anyway, it's a great movie. I highly recommend it. I've said this multiple times here, but I just can't help it. It's an awesome movie. For a Canadian movie, it doesn't actually look cheap, not in my view. A lot of Canadian movies seem to have that kind of cheap looking factor. You know, I don't know why that is. I think it's because they kind of want to make better movies from cheapness. I don't know. Maybe people could tell me below, because I don't honestly know. Maybe they just don't have the right amount of funding or money for it. But anyway, this movie is great. It's awesome. Probably one of the best films of the year, in my view, that I've watched so far. So yeah, that's WolfCop. I give it a rating of a 5.0 out of 5 because it's a lot of fun and it's excellent. And I highly recommend you go out and buy it, guys, because if you don't, you're missing out on a true cult classic in the making. To me, this will be, in years' time, this will be a cult classic that everybody remembers. Because it's got a very 80s B movie feel to it, and I think that's what makes it so special. But also, don't take it seriously as well, and that makes it even better. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Have a lovely day, and remember, let's see if I can think of a smart thing before I end the video. Remember, when your name's Lou, you might need to do the loo. Lou to the loo. No, that's not funny. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Take care and have a lovely day. Thanks for watching. Comment below if you've seen the movie. Comment below if you haven't and you want to say something. And just thanks for watching, guys. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and please like as well. Why not? So thanks for watching, guys, and take care. And buy WolfCop. Yeah.